Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull on the new Heroes and Rearmed Lif banner. I feel like we have had so many Fire Emblem announcements in the past couple of days, and there is so much to talk about, so I think that we should just get to pulling and talk about all of this as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so our plan for today is going to be to pull green and red. And green is definitely going to be the top priority today because we have to get Ascended Hilda. I was so overjoyed when I saw that she was our Ascended unit. She is one of my favorite characters from Three Houses. I think that she is so much fun. She is second only to Marianne as my favorite golden deer. And I have to have every form of Hilda that they're going to give us. I'd really love to plus 10 every form of Hilda that they give us. Probably not going to be possible, but at the very least, we have to get this one. So if we get to 40 and we don't get anything, she is 100% who we're going to take. But we're also going to pull reds today because I also really need to get this new form of Lif as well. Not because I'm attached to him as a character, I'm really not, to be honest, but I need that sword. And I really want to get it for my regular Xander because I tried to make a speed Xander and it really didn't work. And with the sword, that really doesn't matter. And it's also going to totally match his aesthetic and make him super strong. So I think that that's what we're going to do if we can get Lif. So I'm really hoping that I can get them both. And I'm actually a little bit worried about pulling reds just because I do not want to get Shez today. I've talked about this before, but I do not like Shez one bit. I don't like the design. I didn't like them as protagonists at all in Three Hopes. And so I guess if I get them, it is okay fodder. So at least there's that. But I'm really hoping that we don't see Shez today. And I guess there is just one other unit to talk about on the banner, and that is Monica. And I really don't have much of an opinion on her. I never played Edelgard's route in Three Hopes, and I don't really plan to. All I know about her is that she's a huge fan of Edelgard, and that's about it. And so I don't have any attachment. She does have good fodder, though, so if I got her, I wouldn't be mad. But I really don't want to focus my efforts on her today. But aside from the characters that we have on the banner, I did want to talk about Holst. And I was equally overjoyed when I saw that he was going to be added to Fae because he was really one of the few bright spots in my Three Hopes experience. I just had so much fun meeting him. I love his dynamic with Hilda, and he was actually one of the units that I mained when I played. My main units were Marianne, of course, and Hilda and Holst, with a little bit of Claude as well. And so, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure this is our first Kamui, so that is amazing. Yes, it is. So I'm super, super happy with that. But I was saying that I actually used Holst a ton when I played Three Hopes, and I love his art in Fae. I think he's actually going to be quite strong, and I have to plus 10 him, no question. I feel like I've been using a ton of my grails lately, but I also feel like he's going to be a really good choice. And I have wanted to make another plus 10 Barracks tour for this year, but at this point now I'm going to have to wait until we have him in the Grail shop so I can do that. So yeah, I definitely want to do that coming up. And in terms of other future content for the channel, we did have our Genshin live stream early this morning, and I am super pumped for what's coming in the next patch. And so you might be able to look forward to some Genshin summoning videos as well because Sino looks amazing, Neela looks amazing, Candace looks amazing, and I am going to be poor. So I guess that kind of covers everything that I wanted to talk about. And so we can probably go ahead and answer our viewer questions now. And as always, if I don't get to your question, I am so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I will put your question on my list. So our first question today comes from a couple people. This comes from Bahamut Zero and Chris Coy and the Eggs. And they asked what my thoughts were on Fire Emblem Engage. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts and I will try to keep them relatively organized, but it's going to be tough. So I guess I'll start with how I felt when I first saw the reveal. And if I'm being completely honest, I was stunned that Sir Colgate was real. I saw the leaks like a lot of other people, and when I saw it, I thought there is no way that could possibly be a Fire Emblem. but it is. And oh my goodness, you guys, oh my gosh. I'm going to try to be diplomatic, and I will say this is a very talented artist. Like, they do so much better than I could ever hope to possibly do with art, but that design, it is not for me. It's so many colors. It's so toothpaste, and it reminds me of clowns, and I really dislike clowns. And so for all those reasons, I was very disappointed that Sir Colgate was real. But aside from the main lord, I think that there are a couple of things that we can be very excited about. But the big one for me was that Sigurd was there. He looks amazing in 3D. I was so happy to see him. But I'm also super excited because I feel like this means that we could get an FE4 remake. Because I feel like that was the game that really needed a reboot the most. I feel like it's a game with a lot of issues, but is a really fantastic experience overall, with probably one of the best stories in Fire Emblem. And I feel like people really deserve to experience it in an optimal way. And so that was the game that I was really gunning for to get a remake, and I feel like it's now possible. So that was what I was the most excited about. But I will also say there were a couple of characters that I was excited to see with their designs. I think that Celine was my favorite. I think she was the one that was paired with Celica. And I haven't seen any husbandos really just yet, but it's early. We can see them later. And I also kind of wanted to talk about the summoning mechanic and older units being in the game. And it's actually something that makes me a tiny bit worried for the story, because I'm kind of worried that we're going to focus way more on the older characters and not on the new ones that we have, and that type of story. But, I could be wrong. It could just be a fun little bonus that they're added, kind of like a love letter to the series. But, I'm remaining cautiously cautious about it. I don't know about cautiously optimistic, but I'm just kind of waiting to see where they take all of that. So overall, I kind of had a mixed reaction to Fire Emblem Engage. I think that we need to see more before I have a true opinion on it. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Corey Fusting. And they ask, after seeing the trailer for the new Fire Emblem and the new main hero with Colgate hair, if you could be born with 2 different natural hair colors, what would your preferred combination be? Okay, so if I had to pick actual colors that occur in nature, I don't think I would pick 2. I think I would keep my blonde. But if I got to pick actual fun colors, then I would go with a mint green and pink. I think that would be a really, oh my goodness, that is Fina. You know what, I use her every single time we have those limited hero battles, so that is a really good pull. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus defense minus res. I will absolutely take that. That'll be a merge. But getting back to this very lucky question from Corey, if I got to pick fun colors for my hair, I would pick mint green and pink. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Creator King. And they ask, what do you think of the new Hilda in the new Fire Emblem game? So this was actually asked around the time that Three Hopes was released, and I'm sorry it's taken me this long to get to it, but I feel like it's very fitting to answer it now. So I absolutely love the way that Hilda was portrayed in Three Hopes. I think that she kept her fun energy and her spirit, but she was also pretty intelligent and actually sometimes the voice of reason. I loved her design. I actually loved playing her in Three Hopes. Her and Holst and Marianne were just so fun to play. And so, yes, I loved everything about Hilda in Three Hopes, and hopefully talking about her will make her come home. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Oscar or Ozzy. And they ask, who is your favorite villain from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and who is your favorite hero from the Ouroboros squad? Okay, so as for my favorite villain, I think I would say probably Consul M. And as for my favorite hero, I'm not sure if you're asking the main party characters or the hero that you can add as your extra person. So I guess I'll answer both. But if we're talking about the main party, then I would say Noah and Mio equally. They are a package deal and I love them so much. They're probably my favorite protagonists in the entire series. I love everything about them. So I would pick them. And then if I had to pick like the hero that you have as extra, I think that I would go with Ethel. I just thought she was just the coolest, bravest character. I loved her design. I also loved her class. And so yes, I would pick Ethel. But thank you for that great question. And we get a Bowie. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull these reds, and hopefully we can get a leaf here so that we can like spark for Hilda. I don't know. But let's go ahead and answer another one. And this comes from Illuminate. And they ask, which did you prefer more in Sumeru? The Archon Quest with the Sub-Zero's Festival or the Arnara World Quest? Okay, so I will say that the Sub-Zero's Festival was actually probably my favorite Archon quest of all time in Genshin. Despite the fact that it was very repetitive, I feel like it kind of needed to be for the story to progress. And I just felt like it was so incredibly creative, and we got to spend time with Nahida, who is the best Archon. And they actually made me care about an NPC, which is like the first time ever in Genshin. And so for all those reasons, I would pick the Sub-Zero's Festival by far. I absolutely loved it. But as for the Arnara quest, I feel like it was kind of drawn out, and I don't really have any attachment to the Arnara because they just kind of feel like dollar store Koroks to me. Like, I had no idea how they got away with it because it was just so close to Zelda. But yeah, I wasn't very attached to them, and they all had very similar names, so I couldn't tell them apart. And so, yes, at the end of the day, I would choose the Sub-Zero's Festival by far. But thank you for that great question. We get another Baruka. I feel like there were a lot of those today. So we will go ahead and back out, and let's go ahead and spark. And we have to take our Hilda. No other option. I'm really glad we're able to do this. Yay! Oh my goodness, she's so adorable. I absolutely love her. And we get the thing. And a floret, of course. All right, so, you know, I should end things here, but like we also had a really high pity rate. I think it was like 4.75. I should stop. I really should stop. And I don't want this video to be a million years long, but I really want to break that rate. Oh, what do I do? Oh my gosh, 5%. You know what? I don't want to leave it alone. We're just going to do it. So I guess we can take this opportunity to answer more questions. So let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Fallen Red Kid. And they ask, did you finish Xenoblade Chronicles 3? And if you beat it and without going into spoilers, did you like the ending? Okay, so yes, I did finish Xenoblade 3. And I have to say that it is probably one of my favorite video games of all time. There are very few video games that have like hit me emotionally as much as that did, that made me really think about life. And it was such a beautiful masterpiece of a game. And I just think that everybody should play it. But as for the ending, without going into spoilers, I actually have a lot of, oh my goodness, thank goodness. Oh gosh, I am so glad that he came home. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is plus HP minus res. That is a sword for my OG Xander, so I am so happy with that. So we are going to finish up this circle, and getting back to this very lucky question from Fallen Red Kid, I was saying that I actually have a lot of mixed feelings about the ending of Xenoblade 3, but overall it didn't really dampen my experience, and really I cannot recommend that game enough. But thank you for that very lucky question. And we get a Rocher. All right, I know there's no focus, but it's 5%. Why not? It's just 3 orbs. Okay, 3-star. That wasn't worth it. It's George. All right, so now we can go ahead and end things here. I got my Hilda and I got Leaf, so I am really happy now. And if you're pulling on this banner, I really hope that you get everything that you are looking for, and I hope they come home a little bit sooner than my units did. And I also wanted to say a big thank you to everybody that submitted questions. I really, really appreciate your support. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.